first of all, folks, I want to thank you all for joining us today. Webinar is going to be focused on sales and lead generation in 2024. That's something that's top of mind for all the agency owners and business owners across the world, starting out in the new year. And we're going to be looking at how we're going to power those strategies that we've already been using with AI. My name is Dario Obando. I am the Strategic Partnerships Manager at White Shark Media. Been with the company for 5 years. It's an exciting 5 years. I can't wait for the next 10. So we have today our guest, Chip McGraw, President of McGraw Agency. Look forward to getting to those gentlemen a lot more over the course of the next week. He's visiting us here in Nicaragua. And Chip, give us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, so the audience can learn more about who you are.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Dario. So my name is Chip McGraw. I'm a Florida native, but have spent a lot of time here in Nicaragua. First came here in 1999 and purchased some property. I'm an avid surfer and really enjoy spending some time here at the beach. From a professional standpoint, I'm a bit of a serial entrepreneur. Launched McGraw in 2009. I'm also involved in the call center business as well. And McGraw has always been at the forefront of technology, and we actually started out as a data company, and we now provide services as an agency, a growth agency, as well as technology and managed services around a CRM product that we just launched called Swell 365. That's suited for small and medium-sized businesses. And we are also a HubSpot partner, and we focus on that with more large-scale and enterprise solutions for businesses, along with data solutions for marketing, leads, lead generation, both inbound and outbound, and analytics.
Excellent. When I was looking at this slide here, I was noticing our logo and your logo, and they go perfectly hand in hand. We've got the shark and we got the wave. So
right. Well, hopefully we're dodging the sharks, especially the white sharks.
Yeah, no, I love it though, the combination. So, well, let's go ahead. Let's jump in. Gonna go over the agenda here a little bit, just kind of let everybody know what we're gonna be looking at, discussing. And now, obviously, from your perspective, like you said, 15 years in the industry, data, we're going to be looking at the AI evolutions and trends over the last, past few years, how quickly it comes and what we're looking at in 2024. Also, the challenges and opportunities of sales and lead generation, sales teams and lead generation. I think there's a lot of opportunities. Of course, our challenges is something that we're facing today, but I think we're going to be able to solve those with AI. I'm excited about what I've been reading. So, and obviously how AI will be able to help us. And then we'll look at finally at the best practices and a few case studies, case uses, to get into the how it's being applied today. And we know it's everywhere, even without us knowing it. It's everywhere. So let's go ahead and start with that. Maybe we'll go ahead into the AI evolution. So, what would you like to speak on that for the moment?
Sure. So, I mean, obviously, go ahead.
Yeah, the evolution and trends. What can we expect? And what have you been seeing? How have you been using it, actually?
Well, I mean, we've now integrated AI into every area of our business, and I've seen a positive correlation for efficiency. Really, just to name a few: data analytics, marketing, personalization, customer support, predictive analytics, note-taking, as well as internal education. And we actually launched our own McGraw GPT, using the GPT backbone, OpenAI sourcing, and have been able to create a knowledge base both for our customers as well as for internally for our employees. So, I mean, we've seen it as obviously over the last 24 months since ChatGPT kind of came out as open to the public. I think we've seen an enormous amount of adoption in AI, and it's at the forefront of everyone's mind at this moment. And I think it's only going to increase substantially. We're going to see a hockey stick kind of curve upward of people using AI. Obviously, there's a lot of concerns about, how AI is going to be used in the future. Are people going to lose their jobs? How's it going to affect our lives? And obviously, I don't think we're talking at it quite at that level. I mean, we're more concerned here is about how we're using it for, marketing and sales and business functions, right? But I think we're going to see it's really the next industrial revolution. We had the industrial revolution 100 plus years ago, turn of the century, that changed the landscape of the world. And then we have the invention of the internet and the proliferation of smartphones, and that's changed every bit of the way we operate in our daily lives. And I think AI is just the next evolution in that.
Yes, I agree 100%. A couple of things that I was, when I was doing some research, 83%, according to Forbes, 83% of the companies, AI is top of mind right now. And I was also looking, because as we spoke the other day, I was in the financial markets for about 14 years. And, for the e-commerce from 1998 to 2023, I went from like 5 billion to like 1.13 trillion dollars, which is 227-fold. In 2006, AI is going from 300 billion already. And in 6 years is expected to go to 15 trillion.
Wow.
That's astounding number. So
Oh yeah.
That got me excited because of that background in finance. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, so this is exactly what you said, about that hockey stick curve, So I think it's an exciting time. I'm really looking to really jump in both feet. So and I think a lot of I think something you said real quick there, the training. I think it's something that it's obviously our responsibility for ourselves, but also if we can kind of like ask our companies or the company owners to, hey, let's give us a hand. Let's get on this. Let's get in on this together, right? But obviously, at the end of the day, it's each person's responsibility. So I'm with you 100%. This little slide here is how businesses are using it. And some of the things you actually mentioned, you're aggregating data, but can you speak a little bit about this? How does this resonate with you in your business?
Well, I mean, what we're really doing across the board is being able to automate a lot of manual processes, right? That previously would have required a lot more man hours. So for us, pretty much everything that we're using AI for and what's mentioned here in this list, it's just about trying to remove redundancy, create efficiencies, and use technology to give the people that are working in our business the ability to do more. So a lot of, really menial and arduous tasks that before required a lot of man hours have now been replaced with AI, and that hasn't replaced any of our labor force. It's just allowed our labor force to be more efficient and to optimize what they're doing during the day, which really increases productivity. So, anywhere from just incorporating an AI note taker into our conference calls. This is a really neat thing, actually. So all of our conference calls now are joined with fireflies.ai. We then have that linked up into Slack. So every single sales call is basically recorded, then transcribed, just the high level of it. It's not like every single word transcribed, the main points transcribed. That's then loaded into Slack, where it can then be reviewed by a management team. And then another piece of software can analyze that information to see where we can better improve on our sales process, or what could be used to more efficiently get through and deliver the information that the customer is looking for. Right. So it's both customer user interface, improving user experience, improving experiences for the employees. And then obviously, like I said, it's just all about improving productivity and efficiency so that we can scale.
100% agree on that. And something else that I was looking at, it's the gentleman, Kai Fu Lee, which they call him the Oracle of AI.
Okay.
I believe he was the one that was saying is that he believes that, or maybe it was another source, but it was 93 million jobs will be created over the next several years due to AI. So, that's exciting itself because, we have a lot of the young people coming up, in their early 20s and even 30s, and even myself, 67 vintage. So, we're jumping in on, so it's and something else that he said too was like getting to what you're saying is that removing those redundancies and making more time, being more efficient and making more time for the things that you love, to spend time with the people that you love and doing the things that you love. So I think that's, we could not, basically, I look at it as gift. We're getting this gift that some of the smartest people on the planet have been working on for the last, 20 years. And, we'd be foolish not to use it, right? So
Yeah, I mean, we've seen so many ways that we have, there's just so many direct positive results that we've seen from integrating, AI tools into our business, almost too many to count, honestly.
This is something you've touched upon right now, but streamlining your sales process, some of the challenges, and I can relate to some of the challenges and opportunities, for sales and lead generation. But I think if you can, kind of go into like what challenges you had initially before you incorporated into every process that you have now, that'd be fantastic.
Well, right. And I think right here it says it. I mean, the challenges of lead quality, right? I mean, every business faces that. And, at McGraw, what we do with our clients is we try to first and foremost leverage data. So we're going to create a database pinpointing, a persona based on infographics, demographics, et cetera, of the exact people that we want to target. And so that's typically where we start at McGraw. We start with pinpointing data and specific prospects that we're going to go after. And it's done a little bit differently in B2B than B2C. But as we're going through that process, the automation, being able to create seamless automation that doesn't seem robotic or non-human-like. It's all about having really good messaging and then follow-ups that are automated based on triggers or actions or events that are happening. And then furthermore, using AI and machine learning to better understand the propensity of those particular leads to convert, right? And being able to score those leads based on various factors. If you were doing this manually, it would be nearly impossible. The amount of time and effort that would have to be undertaken to do this would be extremely complicated. And it's been done for years. I mean, people have had lead scoring and different softwares have done that for a long time, but AI is giving us the ability to do this in a much quicker way, analyzing many, many data points across many different channels to really understand which of these leads, which of these prospects have the highest intent. And then furthermore, using automation to increase contact with those particular individuals that have a higher propensity to convert and focusing more on them. Therefore, your sales force can be more efficient and they're not wasting time potentially on people that haven't gotten further enough along in the sales cycle to really be an interested party or have high intent yet. So, I mean, obviously, we're going to start with a fairly cold group of people that we're targeting. We're going to warm them up through an omni-channel approach. And, that sales cycle, that journey, that customer journey, different customers have a little bit different way of doing that process. And some people's intent might be higher in the beginning than others. So we want to focus on that bottom of the funnel more effectively. And we're doing that with AI.
We know that there's a lot of different tools out there. We use a handful, there's thousands of them. How did you come about deciding like these are the tools that will work for us? And also, something you also mentioned is about training your sales teams. So how have you gone about that? Is that something that, in small bits, or is it something you organize every week with your team, or you say, hey guys, this is something I want you guys to read on or and do this course, whatever. How are you doing that right now?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, we've just taken a lot of initiative within our business, and we have, people that their full-time job, over the last year or so was to really work on standard operating procedures, integrating AI tools into the business where we could, potentially see a cost savings from employee productivity and also tech stack management. I mean, we've just been, working really hard and diligently to use these tools and figure out which the best ones are. I mean, it's taken a lot of research and initiative on our part to really dig in, do a lot of testing and trying out different tools. So that is a little time consuming. So, I mean, for our clients, we've taken that initiative to figure a lot of things out that we're then, helping them implement into their business as well. But we hired someone pretty much full-time to really analyze this a little bit deeper and, work to see how we could empower not only our systems to run more efficiently, but our people as well. And, the reality is there's a lot of free tools on the market that are incredibly easy to integrate and you can see results almost immediately. So, I mean, that's first and foremost. It takes, either hiring someone that, has the knowledge or, doing the research yourself. And then, figuring out how you can best implement these tools into your current operating procedures, whether that be your sales team, your marketing team, content creation, what have you. And then, we really have focused as well on data collection throughout the process, our sales process, and then allowing our AI tools to analyze that data collection, whether that be through customer interactions or, understanding life cycles of leads, sales cycles, really digging into all the different channels or verticals where we're generating particular leads, and then looking at how are those leads converting, optimizing that, and then correlating that to actual sales funnels and processes all the way through the end. So it takes some time to collect a lot of this data as well to analyze it. But I can say that we didn't really dive into this AI thing until it's really only been about a year for our company, and we have seen just massive lift from productivity with our employees and immediate cost savings in many cases by really removing a lot of redundancies and antiquated processes.
Yeah, I use it. I use it quite a bit. The tasks that I get sent out every day, that's super helpful because I might be going 10 different directions, and then that kind of says stop right for a second, take care of these things, and then you can continue doing what you're doing. So it's helped me quite a bit. I believe we're between Salesforce and Outreach. They're great tools. And I getting back to what I said initially was it's upon myself to make sure that I am putting all the information in there so that the tool can do its job. So I'm 100% with you on that. So we are going to talk about the opportunity with the omni-channel approach, right? How our message, right? How the message has to be pretty much, it's got to be unified. It's got to have the same message. It's not something that you can feel like it's coming from a machine, right? So can you give a little insight into how you're communicating with your prospective clients, leads through the omni-channel approach?
Well, yeah, I mean, by using AI, I mean, we see our marketing campaigns becoming more optimized, using insights into consumer behaviors, understanding how and when our prospects want to be communicated with. Obviously there's a lot of platforms out there, and I've said it before in this conversation that I think, delivering messages in a B2B setting is very different than B2C, different platforms, different messaging, different ways of communicating with people. With the omnichannel approach, I mean, it's paramount, right? To not only deliver, if you're just doing cold email outreach, well, it's unlikely that that's going to get you anything. I don't care how good your emails are. If you're just doing email outreach, it's not going to really do a whole lot. And that has to be coupled with display marketing, SMS, outreach on different platforms across social to the same audience. Perhaps if you're in the US, you're doing direct mail as well to that same audience. You have to understand as well and get the analytics and feedback from your campaigns to know who's engaging and how they're engaging, so that then you can even put more focus onto those individuals. Same thing with lead scoring. As all these leads are coming in from all these different locations, different channels that you're utilizing in your marketing and advertising, You need to be able to analyze that data, correlate it back to the individuals, so that then you can even work more diligently to communicate with those people, to work them through the sales funnel and cycle of sales, right? So we've used AI for all that. I mean, to be able to bring that all in and crunch all that data and understand what's happening with your prospects, and then retarget them. I mean, you mentioned, e-commerce and the growth of e-commerce. Well, the ability to understand what your customer is doing, and being able to retarget them, whether that be, through shopping cart abandonment campaigns, being able to offer them discounts at a certain place during that sales cycle, getting them to come back again.
The perception of AI benefits in the US. As I was saying before, AI is all over. So, as I was driving today here, I got caught in traffic, and, I was using Waze going crazy. And I was thinking how it's kind of routing me, and I'm like, this must be AI, because it's analyzing all the traffic patterns. And I said, great, this is really helping me out. I mean, it took me quite a while to get here, but one thing that kind of surprised me was in the 19.6% increase in sales. So that means that, considering what how e-commerce is growing and everything related to the internet and people going online and buying services, everything from home services to healthcare, I would imagine that number is going to be huge in the future. But like I said, the main perception of the AI benefits are actually enhanced decision making. Help us make better decisions, as you were pointing out. Taking that data in and focusing where we're going to be, spending our time there. So that was the main thing that I was able to take away from there, and also reduce the risk of errors. One of the things that you've mentioned a couple of times, which got my attention, is how we're going to use this information that we're going to be capturing. We have to be responsible, with GDPR and the California law, making sure that we're protecting the information of our clients. So I think that's going to be huge. Of course, we have to make sure that we are, taking into consideration as we're doing our work. And of course, improve customer relationships. I think that's very important. They've gotten to trust us. When the clients have gotten to trust us, obviously we have the ability to improve it with making sure that they're receiving valuable information from us, even once they're already clients. So, but like I said, I was actually a little bit surprised on the increase in sales, which came in one of the lower numbers. So the question is, this chart here, it says the perception of AI benefits in the US. I was actually a bit surprised when I saw this, because it only gave it 9.6% in sales, like the perception. Whereas the reduced risk of errors and decision making, it's almost double. So how does this chart resonate with what you're seeing in your business?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with what applications you're going to be using with AI. I mean, when it comes to advertising, marketing, technology, AI, I think, is becoming utilized a little bit more quickly, and implementation and adoption is happening a little bit faster. I think it's very industry specific as well. So I really, there again, I think it comes down to industry more than anything, and it's still so new. We're talking about this whole thing is become to the forefront only in the last 24 months. Prior to, and maybe that's not even that long, 18 months. I mean, prior to the proliferation of ChatGPT basically being available to everybody kind of jumping on that bandwagon, and now a zillion other applications coming out behind it, using OpenAI and other resources. I mean, I think we're still in the infancy of this whole thing, and it's going to move fast.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, obviously, due to misinformation, the media, various other things, are still fearful. And, obviously people think they might lose their job, or robots are going to take over the world, or, whatever. I mean, if you start looking at this stuff on YouTube, I mean, there's all kinds of craziness out there. So I think it's just a matter of time, and it's very new. It's very early, I still think,
You know what this reminds me of, Chip? As we were speaking about it the other day, it reminds me of like 96, 97, 98, 1998, when everything was .com, everything was coming up
the
.com.
tech bubble.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about a bubble because it's already being used, like this .com, love.com, every.com. But at the end of the day, I thought it was a bubble myself, and I actually liquidated a lot of portfolios because of that, and it was right for the short term. But looking back at it, 25 years later, the stock market has quadrupled, quintupled, if not more, since then. So I see it the same thing. I see it the same way. You and I as surfers, we see this big wave coming, and we just got to know that we got to be prepared. Because we're gonna put ourselves in the way, but we better be prepared for the consequence.
Right, definitely.
So I see this thing, based on what I've been reading, and it's a tsunami. It's a tsunami coming. It's a good tsunami though, right? It's something we're going to be able to ride for a long, long time. So I'm very excited. I know I've said that a couple of times, but it's more so than ever. Let's go ahead.
I think you'll see a lot of things come and go, and there's obviously a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon, creating lots of different applications, and some of them will be a flash in the pan, and then others will end up staying around for the long term. And it's just a process. For me, I think the progress train is not going to stop as AI grows. I think we're going to see a lot more tools become available in the market, and the power behind the systems will only grow. I mean, I see marketing campaigns becoming a lot more optimized. I see a lot of insights that are going to be able to be utilized through consumer trends and lead scoring, all the things that we've been talking about. And I also see us being able to really expand our resources because of the level of efficiency, as we bring on more talent, which is going to need more job opportunity. We can just automate better. And I think, as a business, what we're always doing is how do we fill in gaps that we have, and how to identify gaps, and lastly, how we hope to see like the benefits for our customers and our prospects as well as we improve on customer journeys and sales processes and reducing friction. I think that we're going to see massive opportunities in the e-commerce space as well with all this technology. And people are becoming, I mean, think of it, as you say, in the late 1990s. And, I was in college in the late 90s. And I think that, that's when I first had my first cell phone. That's when I first had my first email. That's when I first started really using a computer. I mean, like, prior to that, it didn't really exist to the masses, to the public, right? And imagine thinking about buying your groceries online, or all the items that you need for your house online, or even for that matter, now going on to and buying a new Hyundai online. I mean, it's revolutionizing everything, and for the good or bad. I mean, there's going to be various changes, but I think it just brings across the board more efficiencies into our lives, freeing up a lot of time, as you said, to do things with people that you love and care about, or chasing those passions, like, catching that next big wave, right? So, I think it's going to take a little while. And I remember in the very beginning being like a senior in high school, and I had this girlfriend, and her brother was a total computer nerd. And I remember him sitting there on in his chat rooms, and we're like, "What are you doing, man? Go outside. What are you wasting your time? Who the heck are you even talking to?" You know what I mean? I mean, that's just the thing we do all day, every day now on social media. No one thinks twice about it.
Yes.
So we thought he was crazy. I'm sure people think, this stuff's coming on. They're like, "Oh, this is crazy, this AI stuff." But I think we're going to see it just like everything else has happened and with technology and internet and things are moving very fast and happening in an exponential way these days. This technology moves quickly.
Mhm. When you mentioned the chat, I laugh because I have a friend, Manny. He would just spend, I would say, like 15 hours a day in these chat rooms. They're like, what are you doing? So that's why I laughed that you remind me of my friend Manny. But yeah, it's something that I probably didn't do my first email to like 1997, I think. I'll remember my first email actually. So it was pretty cool. And where we've gone since then, it's unbelievable. So it's just, it's like I said, it's all around us, everywhere. Let's see. One of the things that I want to ask you about this one here. Do you think that, we as people just like don't have 100% trust? We're thinking, okay, maybe we can do it better. Obviously we always want to maintain the human touch there. But I found myself a little bit doing that. I don't know if how did you get over that? How did you kind of like say, okay, we got to embrace this and embrace this 100%. How did that was my first question. So, please go ahead with that one.
Well, I mean, I think, as human beings, everyone's a little resistant to change, right? I mean, no one really wants change to happen. We like just kind of cruising along in our life, Groundhog Day, and knowing exactly what we're doing one day to the next. And I guess it's scary thinking that, how is this going to change our lives? And can I lose my job because of it? Is it going to make me redundant? Various things like that. But the reality is, in order for even ChatGPT, I mean, it's like, if you remember when Google searches really were first a thing, if you really knew how to correctly queue up a Google search, the better you were at putting in those words to search with, the better your results would be. And that's come a long way. But in the beginning, I don't know if you had to, it was like a very specific way that you had to do Google searches to get the best return of information. And if you look at ChatGPT and a lot of other things, I mean, it depends a lot about how you're scripting, how you're asking, what you're asking for. So it still requires a human. And then it still requires a human to digest that information when it comes in, right? And I'm sure as we go along, there'll be massive improvements and efficiencies and all that as well. But I mean, for me, I'm all about efficiency. I'm all about technology. I'm all about improvements. I'm all about working less, so, and not, working smarter and not harder, so I mean, if there's a technology or a tool that's going to allow me to do that, I certainly want to do it. I mean, look at the implementation of just simple rudimentary tools that the first Homo sapiens used and how that revolutionized the world, or fire, I mean, the ability to cook food. This is like basically very simple things. It's just in a very, more advanced civilization, but these are tools that are going to help improve our lives. And so I'm all for it. And, the sooner that you can get involved and get on the bandwagon and jump on this train, probably the more effective your business is going to operate and the more money you're going to make. So,
that's right.
If you're a business owner, you certainly want to be looking at it.
Yeah.
And I think if you're just a consumer, you certainly want to see how it can improve your life.
And thank you for that context. And the other thing I want to ask you, like the sales coaching, is that something that you're doing it in-house for your team, or is it something that you generally bring somebody in to coach them along to, get them familiar with the platforms, or do y'all do something together where y'all, collaborating with ideas, like I'm doing this, how is that process going with coaching your sales team, your business development team?
A couple of years ago, we did bring in a professional sales coach that really helped us kind of lay some things out, and we learned a lot from there. And we've now integrated into our own business, and we offer this for our customers. We have a sales coach that also assists our clients and helps us internally as well. But what it really takes was creating standard operating procedures across all the company and all the departments. It's having very clear KPIs and expectations that are continuously discussed It's about having a lot of transparency across the business with the different departments about why we have certain goals and objectives, what those goals and objectives mean for the company and for them individually. And then having all of this information across sales and marketing being able to be displayed in dashboards that key people within the company and individual salespeople or marketing people, as whoever's owning those particular departments, has really good information that in real time, it's all gathered and displayed in dashboards in our CRM. So that's really helped as well. So everybody knows what's happening all the time. And having team meetings on a regular cadence is very important, check-ins. We also we use Slack heavily, with different channels for different things. Some are just for fun, but we have specific channels, for different departments, tying in key stakeholders across the organization so that we can easily and quickly disseminate information. So I think the key takeaways are: 1, standard operating procedures, everyone's on the same page, very clear KPIs and expectations, and then transparency with the organization, all stakeholders really understanding how and why we're doing what we're doing.
And I think that one, when I was looking at the goals yesterday, I was looking at, there's so, like you said, everything that you said is dead on. What are the goals that you're measuring? I love going into my reports to see, how I'm doing week over week, day over day, because I know that I have to be more productive. So those reports are actually very helpful. And we do have those, as you mentioned, those cadences of calls with our whole team. So that's I can relate to that. So let's see, the best practices, getting to the goals, I also wanted to talk about a little bit about the tools that you are using, if you want to go into that a little bit. Obviously, we don't want to give away the secret sauce of McGraw, but I can share that. We use Salesforce, Pardo, we use Outreach, Gong, to make sure that, especially for our calls, to see how those calls are going and make sure that we don't miss anything, right? When we get back to the client, make sure that we have all the information that was important to them. Because sometimes if you have a couple of different calls, obviously you might forget a couple of things there, but that note taker I'm going to definitely be using that you had recommended. Do you want to speak a little bit about those goals, specific goals maybe that you're using, like let me see, like
yeah, sure. The tools that we're using across our business, I mentioned Fireflies.ai, which is a really great tool. We've launched our own CRM product, which integrates a lot of these tools into it. It's called the Swell 365. Right. And it's a very cost-effective and competitively priced tool for small to medium-sized businesses that are going to give them access to a lot of these tools across their organization, even if they're just a one-man band or a couple people in the organization. It's a great tool for larger enterprise level businesses that have larger budgets and different set of requirements and needs. HubSpot has been a great tool for many of our customers. ChatSpot, which is AI enabled, some really amazing lead scoring also in HubSpot. It is a fairly expensive tool, and obviously, it's not for every organization. Like I said, it's a great tool for larger businesses and enterprises, and especially great if you're doing B2B, any kind of scale. So I would mention those two products as kind of like your hub where all of these things kind of come into play. And if you don't have just the basic thing that you have to get any of this stuff implemented in your business, you have to start with the CRM. Sales and marketing automation is paramount, and that's like stage 1. And then tying in all the different applications, depending on your needs, requirements, your organization, where you're at in your business today, that's all very customizable. But you have to start with that basic piece of technology, whether that be our Swell 365 or HubSpot would be my two recommendations.
Correct.
Firefly AI, like I said, a great tool, very similar to Gong. And there's a lot of other tools that we use for various marketing automation across LinkedIn and other platforms as well. I mean, it's a much longer conversation, I think, and a lot of this, what we do is we try to customize this to the businesses' individual needs. But I mean, lastly, what our hope is that not only for the individual businesses will see a huge benefit from this, but also their customers and prospects can interact with them, you know, in record speed. You know, speed to contact. When you have a prospect or customer that wants to buy your product or service, and especially if they're out there searching online through, you know, Google, you know, looking at Google or inquiring on search engines, you know, they're shopping, right? And so the more quickly and effectively that you can communicate with those prospects or customers, the more likely they are to buy from you, and the better their experience is going to be. So they're going to come back. They're going to recommend, you know, your company. They're going to leave good reviews. They're going to tell their friends about it. So these tools not only are going to help you inside your business to be more effective and efficient, you know, running your business and in your sales processes, but it's really important to have these tools so that you can also stay up to speed with, you know, the expectations of your prospects and your customers.
Yes, 100% agree on that. We have a support team here at White Shark that, you know, the minute the lead comes in, they're like, I see it coming in, but they're like, did you see it coming in? I'm like, yes, I'm on it right now. So yeah, it's excellent tool. So we only have about 7 minutes left. So I don't know if we want to just a couple more things, you know, just about, you know, basically so it's one case use here on Amazon. I know we're all familiar with Amazon, but do you want to talk a little bit about that, or would you like me to just kind of, you know, my experience?
Well, why don't we open it up for some Q&A, you know, and
okay.
see if there's any questions out there, if anybody has any specific questions.
Perfect. Let me do that. Let me go here. Let me just give me 1 second here. I don't know, that little WhatsApp button came up. Let me see.
Yeah, it looks like we got about 6 people there in
okay, give me 1 second. Let me find where I'm going.
There's one here. It says, as a marketing agency, how did you first incorporate AI into your sales lead gen operations? Where did you find the most need for AIs?
Okay.
So I can answer that question. I mean, I think the first spot that we use it in the lead gen process is helping us in our content creation and better crafting, you know, emails and messaging for our customers and basically for our prospects, right, to help them convert. Secondly, lead scoring, I'd say, was extremely important to bring in a lot of efficiencies in our sales process. So, you know, 2 very different pieces of technology that we're using for both of those things. You know, lead generation, like I said, mainly focused around how do we create better content and better content more quickly, you know, leveraging AI for that. And then as that lead comes in, making sure that we are scoring that lead and then responding to it effectively and appropriately. And obviously there's the first 2 things that you really want to do. Then after you've got that going on, you know, make sure that you are using AI to gather all the information across your organization of your whole marketing and sales process. You have a really good understanding of what leads are converting the best, what marketing is working the best, which sales reps are selling the best, and really digesting all of that information so then you can optimize. And it's just about, as soon as you have these things going, you're gathering that information and you're crunching all that data using various different AI tools, then it's about how do we optimize and improving those campaigns, reducing our cost for acquisition, and increasing internal rate of return on our marketing spend.
Excellent, thank you. I'm having a little technical difficulty getting the screen back up, but so I can't see the questions coming in. Our screen, like our screen, I can't find it here.
Okay, well, there's another one here that says, what percentage of AI assistance do you incorporate into your business? And I think, this really depends on your business, and it really, I think that you can create a personalized experience both for your business internally and for your customers. We're going to try to do as much AI assistance as we can. I think it really depends on your business, what type of business you're operating. There's a lot of tools out there right now for marketing agencies and advertising agencies that maybe easier to adopt than maybe some other businesses. So I think I would look first at how do I improve my sales and marketing processes using AI. I think another really great opportunity with AI is how do you help to improve your employee experiences by having, easily accessible knowledge base. Like we created the McGraw GPT for our internal use for our employees, where they can, tap into all the information about everything they would ever want to know about our company, our products, our services. And it's a fairly easy thing to implement. So I would say those are the easy low-hanging fruit with AI. And then from there, you can look at different processes in your business and see, where do you need to find efficiencies. Certainly, we're open and available to assist with that if people have questions, if they're looking for someone to consult with them, their business, how to implement AI more effectively.
Perfect. I think we have about 2 more minutes left. I don't know if there's another question there. And like I said, I apologize. I lost my screen there.
I don't see any more questions coming in right now.
Okay.
So maybe we can wrap it up. But
yeah, Chip, I want to thank you.
I think the future is bright. For me, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I think the future is very bright with AI, and I really appreciate you taking the time to have me on the call today.
And I really appreciate the time you've taken. The one thing that through the research I was doing is like this gentleman Kai-Fu Lee is incredible. What he's done, but also one thing in our business, in every business really, like Elon Musk says, time is the ultimate currency. So we got to make the most out of the time, and these tools are going to definitely improve our efficiency, so that we can do the things that we want to do. Like I said before, that's how I started out the call. But I want to thank you. I look forward to meeting you in the next couple of days out there on the beach, our favorite place. So thank you once again, and everyone, thank you for attending. We appreciate your participation. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Dario.